I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey guys, welcome back. Oops, the podcast. Gallerati and Lynch.
Hi.
We are here.
There's an improv exercise that we do where you see in SNL when Kristen Wiig and Fred Armisen present something together, not knowing what each other is going to say, and they say it together.
No.
So we'll mimic each other. So let's redo the intro. We'll keep it in, everyone, but we're just going to do it again. So we're going to say everything at the exact same time together, and we're going to mimic each other. So I'll lead, and then you can take over a little bit. Hello, everybody. We are so mad that we haven't gotten started yesterday, but now we are here doing the podcast, enjoying our Red Bull with a big old ice cube.
Very good, very good.
It was very fun.
And scene. Good job, Lynch.
It was fun for me. And wipe.
So who like leads the improv exercises? Are you guys like all new to improv? Like, is there one guy who like used to do it?
There's one guy that leads the whole squad. His name's Vincent. And then Kale, our friend from Muggsy,
Kale well,
who
legend.
now I've gotten close with over the last couple of months. He's one of the heads as well. So the two of them assembled an Avengers squad of novice and expert actors together. And there is a show tomorrow night, May 14th. I won't be there, but you should definitely go. Everyone's fantastic and very funny and very attractive and funny and attractive. So you'll have a great time, especially if you haven't been to an improv show. I never went to one until doing our first one. And so I highly suggest going. So it's called Steam Room Etiquette. Socials on my bio, and check us out on June 12th in Boston.
Go see Lynch's group. Come see me and Lynch in Boston, June 12th. Should be a great show. Then I'm also in Nashville, the 20th and 21st. I'm adding Houston to my calendar, November 7th. And I'm also adding 2 shows in New York City, August 21st, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. I did a poll to see because I wanted to do the 8 p.m., but the place I want to do it isn't really giving 8 p.m.s out anymore. I guess they're just like doing too well to justify having an outside producer. God bless their hearts. So anyway, the 7 o'clock and the 9 o'clock were both available. Neither perfect in my opinion, but both solid. So I did a poll on my Instagram being like, would you guys rather see a 7 or a 9? And dude, it was like 50-50 split down the middle.
Strong opinions.
Yeah. And I even like sorted through it to see how many like comedians were replying, which by the way, comedians, why were you replying to that? Like, are you going to buy tickets to my show? Like, obviously not. For anybody listening who doesn't know, like comedians don't buy tickets to go see other comedians. It's like weird. Mm-hmm. You theoretically could, but like, it's like, it's uncommon. So like them answering is not helpful. So I even tried to like vet through that. And even having done that, it was still right around 50-50, maybe slightly leaning in favor of the 7. So anyway, August 21st, 2 shows at the Stand, New York City. Come see those. And then Charlotte in July at Duckworth. So filling out the calendar nicely.
Nice.
St. Pete in September. So 1 or 2 things a month is my sweet spot, Lynch.
Fabulous.
Especially because like with the travel schedule, trying to film shit also.
Yeah.
Can't just be away from the wife forever, you know?
Can't be away from the wife.
I will say, dude, I have had more separation anxiety from her since we've been married.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah. It makes it more significant. So, we'll see. I'll be curious to see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
You're in the trenches right now.
Yeah. I've seen her. I said in the last episode that we saw each other one day in 13 days, something like that. And I missed the hell out of her on the second night of the bachelor party that I was at. We have wedding stuff to take care of. So I had an absolute hoot on my friend's bachelor party. Shout out to Brian and Julianne. So excited for next month.
Nashville?
This was in Nashville. But it was hard not to think about the love of my life back at home.
Oh yeah, brother.
Working on what needs to be worked on and me being out honky-tonkying it up at Tootsie's. I felt guilt being out there, but Vic did a good job letting me, be like, enjoy your time. But when you come back,
you're going to work.
When you come back, We got a lot of work to do.
You were hitting it hard. Did you, I'm assuming you guys went out on Broadway.
Yeah.
How lit was it?
Environment or me or party
Both?
group? It was a very lit time. It was a very wholesome time.
Nice.
Every single bar and venue on Broadway has like 8 different floors with 8 different performances going on at once. So if you're into casual country, the main floor that's playing there, you go up a level and then it's like grungy rock and roll, and then you go up another level, it's like hip hop. And I found myself gravitating
live hip hop?
live, like live everything, and DJs too. But there was live hip hop at one point, and I typically would go for that. They were playing some Drake shit, and I opted not to. I said that's not authentic, and I went downstairs and I listened to the grungy rock and roll, and we did a little microdose, little micro D, my friends and I got to tell you, it was overwhelming. I was
Too
so.
much or good?
It was too much, but it was good. It was it was like the water was spilling out of my cup. If my body was a cup and you were to fill it to the top with like platonic pleasure, like it was just spilling out. But all of the, like most of it, 98% of the liquid was staying at the top, the tippy top of the cup. I kept looking at my friend Pete. I was like, I'm overwhelmed right now. Like my heart was fluttering. They were
Bright
playing
lights.
They were playing Zombie, and they were really singing it.
song.
Like people that could sell out arenas, the level of talent
there's
on the
talent
second
there.
floor of XYZ bar.
Yeah.
It's everyone there is just absolutely fantastic. So I had a hoot. A hoot.
There's a high level of talent down there, which makes it all the more fun. The mushroom thing. So, okay, you're feeling it. Was there anything specific that was, quote, bugging you out?
No.
But it was a lot, though, you said.
Yeah,
Not quite too much.
It was literally like a non-sexual massive orgasm listening to the music. It just like an eargasm. It was, and it made my heart, all my feelings were so heightened. And, I'm not tripping. I see everything so clearly. I'm speaking super articulately. It was so pleasant. No fights. I didn't see any quarrels amongst the 3 days that I was there, the 3 nights we went out. And it was
Honestly.
it was just super nice. And another fun platonic thing you can do if you don't bring a yo-yo. A lot of these bars are rooftops with balconies. Make eye contact with somebody on the street or at a bar across it and play them in rock, paper, scissors. You can get old people involved. You can get ugly people involved. It's for everybody. You point at somebody. They might be the most disgruntled looking person on the planet. They make eye contact with you and you give them they are elated to participate in a universal game that has no language barrier. Playing rock, paper, scissors left and right. It was a blast, dude. It gets everyone involved, and even the most insecure, small feeling person on the planet can win because it's rock, paper, scissors, dude. And it's so much fun.
Anybody can win.
Anybody can win.
Anybody can win.
Anybody can win. 1, 2, 3. Best 2 out of 3. It was fun. You beat someone on the first rock, paper, or scissor, and then you're like this. And then they're just like, yes, yes. And then you win, and then you do this, or you lose, and you do this. And like, that's just wholesome fun. It's like one of the little things that like we need to do, especially in a day like today.
It's true.
We need to play rock, paper, scissors.
It's true.
So
I fully agree with that.
yeah, it was raining the whole time too.
It was raining the whole time?
The entire time. That was not fun.
That is not fun. Dude, I gotta be honest, like I find that I function at the highest level in every possible way when I have space in my brain. Whether that means like sleep or focus or lack of anxiety, like it all comes down to me having that space in my brain. So I've got kind of into a meditation practice, and Headspace is the app that I use. And dude, I highly recommend it. Whether you have been meditating for years or you're a newbie, like it's an interesting way to approach it, using it from the app. And at the end of the day, like the best way to approach a practice like that is to put yourself in a position to be able to do it a lot. By using the app, it helps me fall asleep more easily. It helps me focus. It helps me have energy. It's truly an incredible thing. You know, I'm a pretty ADD guy, so maybe I notice it even more, but I suspect that this would be just as helpful for anybody. So anyway, if any of that resonates with you, highly recommend checking out Headspace. Feel good and mean it when you say it. For a limited time, get Headspace free for 60 days. Go to headspace.com/oopsthepodcast. That's HEADSPACE.com/oopsthepodcast to unlock all of Headspace free for 60 days. Headspace.com/oopsthepodcast. There are times where I took micro doses where then things started bugging me out in like not in a good way. Like it's kind of a good way, and then like, you know, the stereotypical stuff starts happening. The lights feel a little bright. You'll start feeling a little loud, and there'll just be a person with me who's like too close to me suddenly. I'm just like, can you like not? And every time I look over there, I'm just like, dude, it's really hard to describe. And I remember like kids in my high school used to like take very large doses of these, and I never did it back then. And I still don't really do it now. But like if I'll take a microdose every once in a while, but I actually don't like the way that it makes me feel, so I don't do it anymore. But they would take so much, and they would explain the things that would happen, like sometimes good things, sometimes bad things, and it's pretty hard to understand until you feel it. Even if you only feel it a little, but like it doesn't make sense to a person with a normal brain function. Yeah. Without altered brain function.
Yeah, there's no way to describe it. To the people listening, the way that it's just overwhelming euphoria. Like how do you visualize that? It's hard to describe that.
Yeah, agreed.
Just feelings feel a little bit more. What does that even mean? It's hard. I was so pessimistic before I started doing it. And also, by the way, I do it only on occasion.
Sure,
I'm not falling into bad habits. Mom, Dad, Lisa, Rich, anyone listening.
I mean, look at the guy's veins are popping out of his arms. He's ready to go. The man's ready to get married.
Ready to get married.
So,
but I feel you on that. It's hard to describe it, and I understand it.
Dude, my friend's uncle apparently took a lot of acid at one point. He used to take it a lot or something. And then one day he took like a lot and then just like ended up in Ohio and never spoke again for the rest of his life. Never spoke. Just quiet. Just kind of,
It's really sad.
You gotta be careful.
It's really sad.
You don't want to enter another portal so much that you're stuck in it.
Yeah. See, that's the difference. Like that, if you're doing too much, like you'll see things that you can't even describe to somebody that did a microdose. It's a completely different experience. I know.
Hopefully. I
have a relative like a distant relative that is not the same because of an acid trip from before I was born. And maybe that's sad.
And maybe they like know some shit we don't know now. And now maybe they're better than us. But like I would rather be worse than be part of the group I started with.
Blue pill?
Yeah. I don't wanna wait, what does that mean?
Like the Matrix?
Oh yeah.
Right?
I guess, yeah. I forget.
I don't know which one's which, but there's someone where
I just remember Blue
like,
Chew, which is a sex pill.
That's a sex pill.
For women or for men? I think
it's for men. They have women advertising it. And I'm seeing it on TV now.
Yes, that's it.
How did that make it to TV?
Blue Chew?
Yeah, it's like it reminds me of the rhino pill. It's a glorified rhino pill acting as Viagra.
Like Cialis and stuff have it, but that's like a medical commercial. And you see like old people. Yeah. But Blue Chew's like a hot chick being like, he's really cool. He's really cool.
He's eating Blue Chew.
He takes
It's probably the exact same thing, but I have so much more trust in a commercial where you see like an old couple on a bicycle and they smile at each other, or there's like a bathtub and they're tipping their wine glasses with each other at the Four Seasons.
I have a strict no
Blue Chew.
Hard quote, embarrassing medicine commercial castings.
Yeah, I think early Oops days, I think you've mentioned this before. Has that always been the case?
For me, yes. I don't.
And why is that a hard line for you?
Because I don't want to be the boner guy to people. Be like, oh, like this is, like I don't want to be. One time I did one for sweating and I was pretty conflicted about it. I actually think Francis also did one for this company.
Humira.
Is it this? Is Humira for sweating?
No, it wasn't for sweating, but he did a commercial.
What is Humira?
Humira, you put a gun in my head.
I thought you were like, it's when you put a gun in your mouth. It's
when you put a gun in your head.
It's called Humira.
It was one of those B-roll, like depression, something.
Okay.
Something.
Mine was Cabrexa Dermira, which is some sort of sweat apparatus. I chose to do it. And I don't think they ever ran anything with me in it ever. And I think actually the one, I was one of the ones that I was kind of in, just like didn't run. And like the part that did, I wasn't in. So I was actually really relieved. I still made a good amount of money.
That's great. That's best case.
But yeah, dude, I don't want money is only good if your quality of life remains the same after you get it. Now, I would argue that by doing this embarrassing thing, I mean, there was this guy, dude, who used to work at this restaurant called Le Bill Bouquet. This is in Midtown. This was like a spot. It may still be. I actually think it still is a spot. I think it's like maybe for an older crowd, but like when I was younger, I used to hang out with some of these like younger New York City people. Like we would go there, like they still lived uptown at home or whatever. And it was a spot. There was like a great day brunch and like blah, blah, blah. And the dude who worked there was this like very good looking dude, this French guy. And he ended up doing a Cialis commercial. And this guy's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in Entourage. He's like had little acting parts and like a nice little acting career. And then like did this cool shit on the side. And like he would like hook up with some of the people we would be out with. And these are like 18, 19-year-olds. And this guy's like 40. He's like hooking up with these young girls. It's kind of like weird. But at some point he was in a Cialis commercial and then everyone just started calling him the Cialis guy, which just felt unfair. This guy was like a fucking stud. And it was really obnoxious that he was now just the boner guy. So I just don't want to be the boner guy. Even though I think that it's not fair for people who need these pills. Like, I'm not trying to put a stigma on it. I just don't want to be the face of one of these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though it means I'm making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because after getting the money, my life is now not as good as it was before I had the money.
It's a cautionary tale.
Which is why I can always be bought as long as the following two things are true. My quality of life remains the same after, and I don't fuck other people over. It just doesn't seem fair to like, and I mean, if it's fucking someone over a little, maybe. But if I'm fucking someone over pretty badly, like I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, there's always a price for everything.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's got their price.
That's how I see it.
Damn, that's sad. Sounds. I barely know the guy. He sounds like a good dude.
He's the man. He didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve it. Blue Chew. Dude, commercials are so complicated to me because like, okay, you watch that Blue Chew commercial and the girls are like, yeah, wow, whatever. I forget exactly what's happening, but they're just like they're not even saying that the guy is like banging them.
They just like show it and their eyebrows go up and they're like,
right,
whoa.
right. They're like reacting. And in your head, you're not like by watching that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good, whatever the exercise was. We said the same shit. No, but dude, like I don't watch that and be like, if I take Blue Chews, chicks are going to like me. You know what I mean? It's not linear like that. Mm-hmm. But now you and I are sitting here talking about it. So even if the commercial sucks or it's stupid or it's weird, like, is the whole goal to get us to talk about it? Now we know about it. We know what it is. We know what it does. And there's value to that, right? Mm-hmm. Is that the whole point? Figure out a way to make it stick.
Word of mouth.
Or what? Yeah. Or whatever.
No, yeah, you're completely right. I've caught myself like at something that's absolutely garbage I see online. I'm talking about with a friend, and now 8 of us are talking about it. And I'm like, is that what they wanted us to do? Because now we're talking about something that I was like, this is so stupid and not worth talking about. But now we're talking about this instead of the 2 important things that I saw before and after that actually is worthy of discussion.
Right.
So
different techniques to accomplish the same goal. Brand awareness. And when I sit here in this crowded sea of products where I can choose anything, why will I choose one over the other? And part of it is knowing what they are, knowing what the things are, right? I know there's Viagra, Cialis, and now Blue Chew. Those are the 3 ones in my head that I think of when I think of penis performance pills.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, Blue Chew, you used to associate with the gas station, but now it's on TV. And it being on TV makes me associate it in the legit pool, whereas before I would put it with the Samurai Rhino category.
Yeah.
Yucca, Eka Galoba, Ginkgo biloba.
I know I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll take a minute. Just a quick break. We got a word from our sponsors over at Hims, Men's Growth. If you're looking for any stimulants in order to grow down there, kind of like a Blue Chew, use our code OOPSBLUE. I blew oops 25.
Do we actually have that?
No.
I was like, wait a second. At first I thought Lynch was fucking around. Then I was like, oh, this is a really nice way to weave the ad in. And then I was like, oh, he's fucking around. I had something good. No, I don't remember.
It's so cool. It'll make your cock turn blue.
Blue pee-pee. Blue pee-pee. Blue pee-pee.
Never mind.
Go ahead, dude. Keep going.
If the penis got so red and throbby, would it turn blue? That was the question.
It's a good question.
Okay.
Dude, so anyway, thanks to everybody who came to my shows in DC the last weekend. I love the DC Comedy Loft, dude. It's a great venue. Maybe this was 2 weeks ago now when this airs, but great venue. I really like it. I like the downstairs room a lot. That's what I've done both years that I've been down there for the weekend. And it's always fun to be in a city where like, you know, people, you know what I mean? So like each show, I sort of have this unique opportunity to spend time with friends. The first night, nothing really transpired. I kind of just watched the Knicks game before they were even in the Celtics series, which by the way, a whole other thing. And it's been nuts, but I watched Brunson hit that dagger 3 to end their first round.
Detroit.
With Detroit. Great series. I love Brunson's little 3-point celebration. It's hard for me to like do the right fingers. I always do the wrong ones.
Basketball players know how to do it.
They have their thing.
They got their things and they know how to do it.
So anyway, sick. Then, you know, Friday, hung out with my buddy Alex and Akil. Went to this like hookah bar, whatever. And then Saturday, dude, I met up with a friend named Max, who another guy came and met up with the group that I didn't know he knew. And I know this guy sort of. I haven't seen him in years. So it was like crazy that he linked with the group. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, dude, what? Like, it made sense, but I was like, that's crazy. So now here I am reconnecting with a dude who I've hung out with a couple of times who I've always liked, this other guy, a couple other friends, whatever. We ended up going to this like Georgetown bar, which was interesting. I mean, when's the last time you were at like a college bar? Nashville doesn't count. Nashville is like a step above what I'm thinking of.
Probably at least over 5 years ago.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Dude, it was weird. It was weird. It like felt like I was at a middle school dance. Like when you're an adult, a proper adult, college kids look like full children. That's crazy. Remember when you were 15 and there was a college kid? That was a man or a woman.
Yeah.
And now I look at them and they even have children's bodies. They look like children.
Yep.
I'm like, this is fucking bizarre.
Yeah. I remember being in kindergarten and the seniors in high school came down to like help us paint boats in the art class. And the guy that I was with, he had like, in my eyes, he had a full grown like beard. And I was like, you probably have like a couple kids, I bet, right?
Did he literally have a beard?
Full beard.
Okay. So he objectively had a full beard.
But
and he looked like he was 30 here.
That adultized him.
Totally.
So
totally. You can't sort of like see the nuance.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So dude, I have this joke that Lynch, and maybe some of you guys who've seen me live recently know about. Basically, I talk about the Migos in this joke, which is like a rap group. And there's a song called Fight Night, which I reference very specifically in the joke. And there's like the lyrics, whatever. It doesn't matter what they are. But so I do the joke at the show. It is now 2:30 in the morning. It's late and we're at this bar. And somebody says something, and then one of the guys at the table who was at the show was like, oh, dude, like, hit him with the left, hit him with the right. Like, starts repeating the lyrics of Fight Night. And dude, I'm not even kidding you. Within half a second of him completing saying that, it came on in the place. I haven't heard someone play that song at a place in years. It was crazy. It was a crazy coincidence.
That's awesome.
We all were like, right? That is insane.
Were you guys like, oh?
I was just like disoriented. I was like, the likelihood of that happening is just absolutely unlikely. Couldn't have been more unlikely. What the fuck are the odds of that, dude? That's an old song. I didn't even know people knew that song still.
Yeah.
Especially children.
When shit like that happens, as rare as they are, it's cool. It's so cool.
Sweaty children.
Sweaty children.
Drinking beer. Dude, it was so sweaty in there.
And Jaeger bombs.
Definitely, yeah. And like the staff were being mean to everyone. You know what I mean?
They should.
I guess you need to like corral children when they're misbehaving. I'm sure there's people who are like getting so, actually, to be honest, like everybody seemed like they were in pretty good. The people who I like really looked at seemed like they had their shit together.
Sweaty kids you were staring at?
The sweaty kids I was staring at. But when I see like a belligerent college person behaving a certain way, like it makes me worried about having children. I'm like, that's a thing that they might do. Like, how do they survive this night after night?
Yeah.
This kid could die right now by doing something absolutely insane that makes no sense. And it would just be a complete tragedy.
Or you think about just your kid being out at a bar where that person could fall on your kid or accidentally hurt your kid. So like, get your mind, if you're thinking that way, you ought to think about how even if your kid's not the bad one, just being in the room with the bad one is bad too.
Being around all the bad ones. Yeah, this bar is called Tombs. It's in Georgetown.
Tombs?
I don't know. I wasn't my call to go there. I like to try to go to a place where I can get a solid cocktail. This was not one of the places.
No?
You know what I mean? After show, if I'm just like chilling, little nightcap, go to bed, like celebrate a good night. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Tough. But anyway.
What were you sipping on?
Dude, in smaller cities, and I know some people take issue with calling DC a smaller city, culturally, it just feels like a smaller city than like the quote major cities. And whatever that, take that as you may. But in a quote smaller city, you can always get a great drink. In New York, not the case. You know what I mean? Like you go to any place that's like a cocktail place and like the bartender like cares a lot. And like you're going to get the big ice cube. You might even get the ball big ice cube. It's like a skee ball, like a baseball. It's huge.
Pool ball.
Yeah.
Lacrosse ball.
Well, yes.
An ornament.
But anyway, like, dude, you're going to get like the best drink ever. And like, I can't say the same for New York. There's like a good cocktail place near us. And it's just like nowhere near as good as some of the places that I've been to in Tulsa. Best cocktail bar I've ever been to is in Tulsa. I can't remember the name.
Is this the one you went with Danny?
Was Zach McGovern. I need to look right now. It's called Valkyrie. Best cocktail bar I've ever been to. So anyway, whatever. So that's what I would like to do. We went to this college bar, whatever. But it was nice to see all the sort of familiar faces, people who have come the past few times I've been in DC. It's just like so nice to have the support. Very greatly appreciated. And always like when people who are like fully up to date on the pod slide that in there. I'm like, okay, I see you. You know what I mean?
You're real.
Yeah. But yeah, whatever. Anybody who comes and supports. There's people who like sit in the same place both times, which I appreciated. There's one girl in particular and her friends. So anyway, whatever. Great, good shit. Good weekend. And thank you for coming. Looking forward to running it back in Boston on the 12th.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. I did a pretty deep national park deep dive. Like I've run out of proper national park designations within Washington, D.C.
Okay. How many are there?
Probably 20. There's like a good amount. But then within some of the categories, there's like more. And there's sort of like the main list of the more, but then there's also like a secondary list. So I was like, I guess I'll do some of those. And once you start digging too deep, it then starts to become slightly uneventful, to be honest. Just like random statues and stuff that like, it's not on the specific list for a reason.
Mm-hmm. It's just a technicality.
Yeah, it's like it technically also, this is there. But it was actually funny on the Thursday show, people were like really psyched that I was doing that. And then they were like, can you like name some of the ones you went to? I started doing that. And then they just started cheering after every single one that I listed. I was like, Farragut Square. People are like, ah! And it became this like hilarious ongoing joke throughout the set. I'm like, Rollins Park. Ah! Pretty funny.
That's comedy, man.
I know.
Intimate.
I know.
Do you think there's people that listen to this podcast that have listened since day one that have never been to a comedy show before?
Interesting question. It's a great question. I don't know. Probably. Let us know, guys.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. It would shockingly surprise me, not in a bad way for you. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because a lot of conversations revolve around that setting, and so I'm just curious. It'd be like if that would be like us listening to coal miners do a podcast for 600 plus episodes talking about the ins and outs.
I don't know if it's the same thing, Lynch.
No,
I don't know that there's like a casual coal mining spectator community.
It could be.
There could be. I potentially a better comparison might be, and I think you would also be able to do this, but tell me if you agree or not. Like us being massive fans of baseball and having never gone to a game.
Yeah, that's better.
Potentially slightly better.
That's better.
Well, look, I'm 10 years older than you. Yeah. That's the whole beauty of this pod. It's like I'm the old dog and Lynch is the sprightly young youth. Bright-eyed, motivated.
You're
I'm the grizzled vet.
You're youthful. You're so youthful.
Thank you. I appreciate it, dude.
Baseball's a better comparison. Yeah. Hey, one of our recent episodes, we asked at the very, very end for people to comment Jeffrey if they listened to it, and we got over 15 comments saying Jeffrey.
I love it.
So
The very last moment of the show, guys. We
like
love
literally last like
We love you a lot.
before like as in the video version, as like you're bopping your head forward for 1 second during the goodbye. Like that,
Yeah.
like that's right is when we said it. So
Yeah, our love for you could not be more pronounced,
yeah.
dare I say.
Yeah. And also, let me just say now too, any DM, any message, any comment or note from the pod or anything that we post, like makes my day.
Agreed.
It makes my day. It makes me want to stay on this planet, you know? I mean, it doesn't
Where you
make
going? Where are you going, Lynch? You leaving the pod?
I'm not going. No. I mean, I went to want it. It makes you, you know, the Tim Robinson episode, like where he's like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like not that I do, if I ever have a day in this life where I'm like, I don't want to be around anymore. When you send me a message of something of note, like it makes me want to be alive. So thank you.
Dude, speaking of which, how funny is the one where he's like, if I go home, he's like, I'm going home to something really bad. And they're like, well, what are you going home to? He's like, I don't know. You guys got to watch. I think you should leave. It's got to be the
Is that the zip line
Yeah.
one?
Dude, it's so funny.
I've been saying to people that I don't know, like on the bachelor party, like I've been making quick references, like, give me that. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Give me that. I can't wait to see that movie.
Dude, so good. So
Yeah.
good.
So just thank you guys. Love you guys.
So, dude, this happened on Saturday at the DC Comedy Loft, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So the owner of the club, which if you guys didn't know about comedy, so first of all, backtrack 1 second to what we were talking about, never having been to a comedy show. I have no concept of like to what degree comedy is a priority for people, depending on where they are, et cetera. Because when I started doing comedy, I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of it. I had watched it when it came on and was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like I'd love to do that someday, but I was never like a stan for it. There also was less to stand over. Now there's all these pods, all this behind the scenes. Like there's this huge ecosystem for understanding comedy that didn't exist before. But anyway, like I was never at an age where I was like a consumer of comedy before I started doing it. So I have no idea to what degree should we go to a comedy show is like in the conversation. That is all to say. I was at the show on Saturday and the owner of the club comes in. So the reason why I ended up doing the backtracking there. So for context, owners of clubs are not always super involved. So like there'll be a booker, the manager, whatever, but like the person who literally owns the club is not always there. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. In this particular case, I guess this owner doesn't come around that often. Came to my show and made it clear. So there's 2 rooms of the DC Comedy Loft. She made it clear to me that she chose my show, which I thought was really sweet to tell me. She's like, hey, like, I'm bringing a bunch of these like 15, 16-year-old kids. Like, we chose your show. We think you like align more with our values or whatever. I was like, oh, that's so nice. And then I think maybe she meant because of like the traveling, some of the philanthropic stuff with like the library. I was like, oh, amazing. Like people do read this stuff sometimes and choose. So I'm happy that like buttering me up, right? I'm like, great. So then the show's happening and I'll be honest, it's very challenging to perform for teenagers. So like this room probably seats 65, 70 people and 17 of them are children right there. And, you know, it's not a thing that kids normally go to. So it was like hard to keep them engaged without seeming like I'm pandering to them and then ruining the show for everybody else, getting them to respect me. And also making, you know, it's hard to make these people in this age range laugh. So like trying to get some chuckles out of them because otherwise it's too much of the room. So like it can sound like I'm not doing well if they're not reacting at all the whole show. Even if they're just kind of like an anomaly table, it might be hard for the other people to enjoy if not everybody's laughing.
You need to focus on the other people too.
Of course. So like interesting dance of trying to like, all right, I haven't heard from these guys for a while. I guess I need to specifically talk to them now or pick on them a little, but not too much. And then a lot of the parents are there too. And I was like, this is so odd.
Yeah.
But good practice because I'm performing at a high school like overnight thing in June.
Oh, like a graduation thing? So they don't drink and die?
The 24-hour overnight thing I'm performing.
When in doubt, just scream, chicken jockey.
What's that?
That's from the Minecraft movie.
Okay.
That's the thing that people are screaming.
Noted.
And then they throw popcorn in the air and destroy the movie theater. you seen those videos?
Do they say chicken jockey in the movie?
In
Minecraft?
I haven't seen it. I don't understand it, but all I know is that Jack Black says chicken jockey, and then they just
Everybody goes
erupt.
nuts.
They erupt. So when in doubt, if you're bombing in front of those kids, how many kids are going to be there?
I don't know. But so initially so I'm doing another private gig that night. So the person, and it's like a great gig for me, this other one. So I'm like, great, whatever. And then he's like, look, like I also have this like high school situation. Like I think they wanted a mentalist, but like they might also want you. Like, would you be interested? I'm like, what's the deal? He's like, well, you do like 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm like, dude, like honestly, I don't think I'm into it. I have to give me a second to decide how much mental fortitude I have, because like that's a thing that can make you retire in theory. So he's like, all right, think about it. So then we revisit it and he's like, look, you can make X amount for doing 25 minutes. I'm like, okay, that sounds better. I can survive for 25 minutes. And like for that amount of money, like, well, let's fucking do it. So I'm doing it.
In a gymnasium, I bet.
Probably.
Big walls, lots of echo.
I think it's like a fairly sophisticated high school.
Okay.
Which, is that helpful? I don't even know. It might be. Maybe those kids are just entitled. I don't really know. Like these kids who were at this show of mine on Saturday were nice kids. There's a group of boys, like they had just like played basketball and were like still in their basketball clothes and had basketballs with them. Like they were sweet, you know what I mean? But also they're like fucking kids who are like adolescent boys. You know what I mean? Like no group of adolescent boys isn't mischievous to some degree.
Yeah.
So like there's that element. So like I don't know to what degree it's like if these kids went to a less fancy school, would they have been better audience or worse because they're kids? And like, do you know what I mean? Like being more sophisticated, but also more entitled, you're still a kid in both situations. I don't know if the 15-year-old kids from like a more modest background would have been so excited about the opportunity or if they would have been jaded and be like, this is fucking lame. Like,
yeah.
By the way, I went to see Sinners.
Yeah?
I did.
You can tell me about the first.
Yeah. So spoiler alert, guys. So I guess don't listen if you plan on seeing it or you haven't seen it yet or whatever. So the first minute, which LOL, by the way, dude, the vampire thing was a massive spoiler.
Really?
Yes, dude.
Oh, I was chopping up the episode. I was like, Giulio. I remember as I was editing, I was like, Giulio, come on.
Bro, massive spoiler.
Sorry.
I didn't watch the trailer. I had no idea.
I'm sorry. That's fine. My bad,
You're
dude.
fine. Hilarious. So
That wasn't brought up at the first minute?
no, it's not brought up it's actually never brought up.
Until the guy falls from the sky and runs towards the house?
Yeah, when the
Solid.
when the natives arrive, I was thinking to myself, like, if I didn't know that this movie was about vampires, would I know? I wouldn't have put the sun thing together. I wouldn't have known. So, and then eventually you find out when you find out. But anyway, so the beginning of the movie, dude, you don't get that much out of it. I was thinking that too. Like, there's sort of like the kid runs into the church. That thing that happens at the end happens in the beginning too. And then you're just like, all right, how did this happen? But like, you don't really get a ton out of it. And then like, what was happening when you arrived at the theater?
The brothers were talking to the old drunk man.
Okay.
Recruiting him.
You didn't miss anything.
For a beer.
You didn't miss anything. And I think that this is the problem with the movie. The movie kind of like has a lot of holes in it, in my opinion. I get why we're championing it, and it is cool. It's a cool movie. It's fun. There's like satisfying, cool things about it. But to me, there's a lot of holes. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. Even if you believe this world that we're in, I think some of the liberties don't work, and they don't land the plane. I didn't really like it that much.
You're the first person that's said that, and I've been too afraid to admit that it was fine.
You think that too?
I agree with everything you said. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
I love that it was a thing.
Michael B. Jordan was great.
I got text messages from people that I love and I love you saying, you gotta see Sinners. I don't. I didn't need to see it. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was 3.5 out of 5 for me.
I was going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
And I'm a generous grader. So a 3 for me might be lower for somebody else. But yeah, dude, I don't know. It just
Glad you said that.
And I get the incentive behind championing it. You know, it's good for Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood is clearly struggling. There's an initiative on TikTok right now where if you talk about movies in your TikToks and it pops off, you get paid, which Hollywood is clearly behind. They're like, we are fucking up on the social media train, and we need to like figure out ways for more organic ways to engage with people. Because this Hollywood bullshit is just like not cutting it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that specifically.
Yeah.
But I follow some movie recommenders and endorsers, and they get sponsored. They get paid endorsements by studios to push out a certain movie on top of their regular movie review content.
Totally.
So that's a good way to get it out. Have you seen The Studio on Apple? Seth Rogen's show?
No.
That I think, I mean, there's so many great shows out right now. That is a awesome depiction of Hollywood today.
One of my pals is in it. Shout out to Chase. She's having a great run right now. She's
Really?
doing all this stuff. Yeah. But it just got renewed for another season. I
I
saw.
saw that. I watched the first 4 episodes, and
good?
I haven't watched in a couple of weeks. It's fantastic. It's one of Seth Rogen's like
It's like an
best
entourage
pieces.
kind of deal. Everyone pays himself.
Kind of. It's kind of got that Safdie brothers stressful, nonstop
Love that.
vibe to it. Seth Rogen's just it's fantastic. So and that it paints a good picture of how he views Hollywood today and how quick it is at changing and how much it's struggling. And the cameos are just insane. It's great.
Yeah, awesome. I gotta check it out. Yeah, dude. To that point, you know, Hollywood sort of like struggling, whatever. I see the incentive for rooting for Sinners. You know, it's an original script, original story, original story blockbuster, which like all the sort of noise they've been making about that reminds us all to what degree all the movies are like legacy things. It's like superheroes or like a reboot of something or you know what I mean? So for there to be like an OG, just like good story, like crushing at the box office, like that's amazing. You know what I mean? All cool stuff, but I don't know. I didn't love it.
Yeah. A lot of the horror movies that come out tend to be original scripts. Got one with Dave Franco, body horror film. I forget what it's called. It's coming out soon. The directors just released a new, the directors of Talk to Me just released a new film, original screenplay. We got Weapons coming out in August. That's going to be the horror movie of the summer, original screenplay. You don't see...
Horror's still niche though, dude. There's just a big percentage of the population who immediately taps out at horror.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's like, it is a great genre and like it has been having a renaissance for sure. Like
And there's comedy in it, and
Totally.
it's the perfect horror is a blend of like horror, thriller, and comedy. The comedic relief, I think some of the scary movies, the Jordan Peele movies, obviously with his background, like there's some of the funnier movies that have come out in the last decade with
the horror
with their
movies, yeah.
stuff. So
And dude, it's interesting too because horror movies, another one of the reasons why they do so well is because they tend to be affordable because you don't have to like, and the big ones, there are box office ones where there's like a big star attached, but like you don't really need famous people for a horror movie to do well because the scariness is the draw. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So anyway, I guess go watch the movies if you want to. I don't really give a fuck if Hollywood falters.
New Jersey's opening up a massive Netflix studio.
Interesting.
Massive.
Where?
Somewhere in the Newark area. Something about New Jersey is perfect for shoots because you have access within an hour to the shore, to Newark, where you can shoot city scenes. You have access to farmland, and you have access to the mountains.
Interesting.
So it's
What mountains?
like New York.
Like upstate?
Yeah, all within about an hour or so. Every type of environment is right there.
Interesting. It was that like one of the...
Yeah, those, and I think tax benefits too.
Got it. Crazy, bro. Well, you know, good luck to the film industry. Happy to see you doing well on the East Coast. I'm Giulio. He's Ryan. We've already plugged all of our shows throughout the episodes, so we don't need to do that. Keep your eyes peeled for my Patreon situation. My Alaska video is on the horizon. We'll be dropping that at some point this month, probably in the next 2 weeks, I would guess. Should be a really good one. I'm really happy with it. It's probably, since like I've decided to start really hitting it, I'd say this is probably the best one so far, in my opinion. So whatever, check it out. Let me know what you think. Not Julio, Ryan is Really Play, Oops Podcast. Email us, oopspodcast@gmail.com. And anything else?
Comment Tortugas in the comment section if you've watched this far. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.